depending on which side of the law that you may be, or of an issue that you may be, this may be a positive or a negative. But a Supreme Court ruling means that a rare win for public records rights. And this is an opinion piece, so we're going to dissect the fact from the opinion. So I have some firsthand experience from this. The ability to go and in the state of Florida, which is my home state, and if you're doing any kind of real estate in Florida, it is very important to be able to search the legal history of a property. And to do that, you need to go into the public records. So the Florida Supreme Court has handed down an important but increasingly rare open records win that's going to mean faster access to information, not just for the state's press corps, but for all Floridians. So the press corps would use the public records to be able to formulate their stories. There's a lot of stories that you may see which have something to do with some kind of court ruling, and there is a lot of, if you're a filmmaker or a writer or a storyteller or in the press and you're looking for a story, dissecting and going through the public records and the court dockets could be an interesting way to get real life hard-hitting stories. So the court last week finalized a new rule that no longer requires clerk of courts across Florida to be responsible for redacting confidential information from civil court documents. Now that's an interesting bit of wording. To be responsible for redacting confidential from civil court documents. So if you're not familiar with how the records, the county recorder works, there's different levels to the public records. There is the official records, and then there is the court dockets. And then within the court dockets, there's the dockets for all of the different kinds of courts. Now, the civil court is just one of the many courts. And let me show you an example. So let's go to Google. And a good way to be able to find the public records in your area is to figure out what county you're in, and then to do these kinds of searches. So I am in Miami-Dade County. So if I search for Miami-Dade public records, we're going to come up with this site. And we're going to see here that we can now search, we could do a standard search, and this is the County Recorder's Official Record Search. And we can go into the standard search. And now if we go back here, we see something interesting, which may pertain to what they're talking about. This database contains official records recorded through June 3rd, 2021. Now, today is June 15th. You can see down here it's June 15th at the time of recording. So anything recorded within the last 12 days, so nearly 2 weeks, would not be in this database. And depending on what you're looking for, that timeliness may be important. Maybe, let's say you're looking to bid on a property at a foreclosure auction, and you're doing your research, and you find that there's so many liens, that there's a mortgage, that there's a second mortgage, that there's a third mortgage, that there's a mechanic's lien or whatever it is. But it turns out that the auction's tomorrow, and someone filed, let's say yesterday, today's Tuesday, so on Monday, someone filed a lien on the property on Monday the 14th. That record, even if they filed it last Monday, that record would not be in the public record. So what they're saying is that the responsibility used to fall as it should on those who file the documents, not those who store them. So now if we go search for, let's go search in the public records, and a good way. And then another thing, here's another way to find an important tool. So in every county in the United States, If you know of a county where this doesn't exist, let me know. And I mean every county in the United States. Now, there's the differentiation where some counties would have fully digitized this process or somewhat digitized this process, and then some counties would not have digitized it, but the office still exists. And the reason that it needs to exist is for taxation purposes. So when counties are getting set up, for them to, they're a county's entire existence. And this is an interesting psychological, I wouldn't say a trick, but where you say a county, Miami-Dade County, you're made to think that is the land and the people that live in that county. But what you're actually referring to is the municipal organization which governs and taxes the individuals, properties, and businesses which operate under the jurisdiction of the county. Namely, now, the businesses and properties, for all intents and purposes, the only thing that really has to reside within the county are the properties. The businesses could be incorporated through the state register of corporations, but they could, you could be anywhere running your business. If you run an online business, you could be anywhere in the country doing this, but your business is on paper incorporated in definitely a state, if not a county within that state. So each county has the county clerk, which has the official records. It has the clerk of courts, which is the actual court system, and both those, the official records and the county recorder and the court system, produce their own set of documents. Now, there is an overlap on some of those documents. For example, if a property were to go into foreclosure, there are certain documents within the foreclosure in a judicial state where a foreclosure has to go through court. It's not just an administrative process that then gets ruled on. It has to actually go through court. Both sides are able to make their argument. And, since it's such a systemized process, people don't think about this. But the court then, the bank or the lender or whoever has the lien on the property has to come with a formal complaint, being a document that says that we are looking to foreclose on this property to recoup a certain amount of money which has been lost because of a default on a contract. That's really where it comes from, because whether it's a mechanic's lien or first mortgage, there was a contract in place that has been breached, and the remedy is to take it to court, and the court will rule on whether that property gets foreclosed and for how much and how the issue gets resolved. These documents, so some of these documents, there are key goalposts, let's say, in that process. Some of them are the lis pendens, LIS pendens. And the lis pendens is a document that notifies the court and the parties involved that a court action is about to begin. This is a document that will be on the court docket, and it will also appear on the public record. Now, the nuances of where and how those documents show up could vary, but are pretty much standardized, at least in the state of Florida, and if not elsewhere. Then there are the final judgments. So if the lis pendens is the beginning of the court case, the final judgment is the de facto end. There are things that happen after the final judgment that can go into court. For example, through a foreclosure, if it goes through auction and it is won by a third-party bidder or the plaintiff, and there is someone occupying who has possession of the property, then what is needed to be able to remove and to acquire possession of that property is what's called a writ of possession. So with a writ of possession, now that is something that happens after the final judgment as a final resolution for what's happening with the property. But either way, so there's this overlap of these documents. And in every county in America, and this is a little 101 of how kind of this county municipal legal system works. There is the county recorder's office, there is the court dockets, there is the property appraiser, there is the tax collector, and then there is the auctioning system, which is both a foreclosure auction system or a tax deed auction system. And now in this foreclosure tax deed auction system, not only can you have properties that get auctioned off, you can have, I've seen anywhere from liquor licenses, I've seen taxi medallions, big things of value, which get anything that really gets foreclosed on of value could theoretically be foreclosed and sold off through a foreclosure auction. So these 5 things, the county recorder, the court dockets, the property appraiser, the tax collector, and the auction system, let's call it, exist in every county. And it's the kind of functioning, if every car has, an engine, transmission, or more, it has let's do it at that base level. An engine, the transmission, the drivetrain, and then the body and frame of the car. Every county has a recorder, a court docket, a tax collector, an auction system, and the property appraiser. So for any county, we can find these 5 things. So if we do Miami-Dade Public Records, that's one. If we do Miami-Dade Property Appraiser, that is another. Property appraiser. Oh, this is what's going on with this. So something is going on with this website. Property search. Okay, property search. So here's the property appraiser. And like I said, for counties where this has not been digitized, you will have to go to a physical office and make your search, and you may have to pay something to get the documents, to get a printout. And for the ones that have been digitized, the physical in-copy ones still exist. And I think there may be, it has to exist. There has to be this kind of transparency. It's not like a county can just have these documents and not release it to the public, because the whole point is for it to serve the public. And then if we do Miami-Dade court dockets, let's search court dockets. Does that show up? So that shows up this site. And this site looks very similar to the county recorder. So we see this page right here. This looks very similar to this page, but they are different. They are looking into different databases, and the way that they search are different. Now, if we do Miami-Dade Tax Collector, we see here is the tax collector. And here you can pay the tax bill, but you can also search and see if there are past due taxes, or what taxes are due for any given property. So if we go tax collector, services, real estate tax payments, pay your property tax bill. Where is the... So depending on the county, you got to go through, is this to pay it? property tax. So you have to go through a few. Property tax search. Search property taxes. So I think this is it. So if we do, let's see, 1000 Brickell Ave. Sure. Fast logic. Wow, $18,000 in tax. So here we go. So this is where you'll see the actual taxes, the Miami-Dade Tax Collector. And you'll be able to see what taxes are due. And then there's the foreclosure. Foreclosure auction. And that'll open this site. And this is now the auction system. So we see here this calendar of the foreclosure auctions that today at 10 o'clock a.m., the foreclosure auctions have already passed. So there's 12 foreclosure auctions that happened today. So we have this property here in Key Biscayne, which has a case number, a 2016 case, an $812,000 final judgment. We have the parcel ID, so we can go look at this parcel ID. And we see it's this beautiful home here. So this property was just sold to a third-party bidder for $892,000. Now, what we have going on is, can I go down? Can I scroll down? It's not allowing me to, oh, there we go. Okay, so we can scroll up and down. And now if we were to see and we wanted to look up more of what was going on, we could see here, okay, it just sold. And now it just sold to a third-party bidder. So if we wanted to learn more about the property, we would now search by their name. And we would search by their name on the official record search. So if we go look at the standard search, if we put this person's name in there, this is all public record. I don't know these people. This just happened to be what was first on the foreclosure auction for today. So if we see what's going on and we do a search right here, we can now see what's going on. So there is an assignment of mortgage, a document type, assignment of mortgage. Now let's just click this assignment of mortgage and let's get back to our news story. And we see here exactly what they're talking about, where we have the CFN details. It may be something like clerk file number details. Yeah, clerk file number. There you go. That was a good guess. Clerk file number. And it says 2021 R and then a sequential number. So this number is a 322,981st document recorded in the year 2021, the year of our Lord. We could see the document image, and we could see there's an assignment of a note and mortgage between the Northern Trust Bank of Florida and Vacason LLC, a Florida Limited Vacason LLC. What a great name for a company. So there's the mortgage, and the mortgage was for $725,000. And we see here the book and page number of the mortgage. So there's these, before everything was digitized, things were literally held in books and pages. Now, with everything being digitized, we can now have these sequential numbers where a unique number gets attached to each document. But back when, the thing is, there's still a physical copy of this, but with a digital copy, it makes more sense to have just a single unique number instead of a book and page number. But when there's physically books in pages in filing cabinets, it makes sense to use book and pages. So we see there's a $725,000 mortgage, and you can learn a lot about how mortgages and notes work. So the mortgage, if you're not aware, is the document after the note, which then has all the stipulations of what happens, of what the terms of the note are. So the note just has the financial information. It's for so much. It has so much interest rates, which means that the payment's going to be this much. If it's an adjustable rate, if it's a fixed rate, whatever the case may be. And the mortgage then says what you can and can't do with the property, because if you break any of the parts of the mortgage, now they can go and take you to court and foreclose on it. So we see here, they're talking about a signer hereby represents that a signer owns the note and mortgage, has not assigned or transferred them. The original note and mortgage, recorded mortgage, have been filed with the court in case number 2016 014-088-844 CA01, styled the Northern Trust Company and Illinois Banking Corporation, etc. versus William Davis Earl, blah, 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 blah. In the Circuit Court of the 11th Judicial Circuit in and for Miami-Dade County of Florida. So there we go. So there's the county court that this is talking about. So now, if we go back to the foreclosure, we can see that that's exactly the case that's foreclosed. So we see these stipulations being made so that one can't say later, oh, this mortgage was assigned to someone else and they don't have jurisdiction over this, they don't have a say over this mortgage because now it's been assigned. They're saying specifically in the document that we're assigning it. It hasn't been assigned before, but we're assigning it, and then now the assigner, we own the note of mortgage, and it's in this court case that's ongoing that's about to be foreclosed, which is important if you are now vacazon, and now this 800 and presumably vacazon paid a certain amount to have this mortgage get assigned to them, so they are now the one holding the bag. So now with this foreclosure auction taking place, if everything goes through, this $892,000 minus the court fees or whatever would now go to this vacazon, because vacazon LLC paid off the Northern Bank Trust and whoever owned the mortgage before. That's what they're saying. So now if we go in, so we see that there's this document, assignment of mortgage, and then all these DCP are different court documents. So this is where the overlap happens. The DCP documents are like the district court. I'm not sure exactly what it means. But if we get back to our story, we see that so then you can order a certified copy. So if you need a certified copy for whatever reason, you can order it. And finally, if you have a redaction request, and some of the big ones are for Social Security and bank account number redaction. Because you don't want your bank account or your Social Security out there where some guy like me can just be surfing the internet and be able to find it. This would be ripe for people for identity theft. You know what I mean? So you if you see, oh my God, my Social Security number's in there, somewhere in this document, that is no good. I need that to be removed. So you do the redaction request, and then now this is where the document, this article is saying that you would then, the recorder's office, which is likely pretty underfunded, you know what I mean, and it's just a few old ladies in the county courthouse, would now have to go in and redact, put a little black box over the part that needs to get redacted, and then they redact it, and they either have to rescan it or they just do it in the digital, whatever the case may be, to redact it. But now, apparently, you're going to have to be responsible for it based on what the Supreme Court. And so before you file anything, before you file your assignment of mortgage into the county, the clerk of courts or the official recorder's office, you're going to have to, like the CIA, redact all the parts that you don't want to be seen, and then saving the time for now the county recorder's office to just upload the document as it is and have, presumably improve the time, that instead of it being 2 weeks since, it's been updated, that it could be a lot faster. So this is an interesting, and they even say, many readers may say, so what? Why should I care? But why I stumbled on this article is because I've spent a lot of time doing research in the public records, doing various, real estate things. And this is an interesting thing that could, impact how businesses and people operate, that, if you're an attorney, if you're a title company, if you're an investor, if you're a realtor, if you're a homeowner, if you're whatever it is, then now this is going to be a new thing. So interesting little nuanced news of the day. I hope you enjoyed that. If you enjoy stories like this and videos like this, like the video, subscribe to the channel. I do all kinds of random videos where I talk about things that I find interesting. Maybe you find them interesting as well. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.